Right, people, this is the full report now, but I'm going to miss all the family background, all the background history. I'm going to miss, because that's just on about how I grew up and nothing that interesting. It's all the offending behaviour that we want to know about. The initial charges that triggered this report was carrying bladed articles, but we'll get to that in a sec when we can get to the criminal offending part and what I've done in my life, because that's the part that everybody wants to hear. The most disgusting things I've ever done. Drug and alcohol history. She openly stated that before she was detained in custody, she was drinking a large amount of alcohol. She described drinking a whole bottle of Malibu together with half a litre of vodka and per day. She described continuing for the past 3 to 4 years. She felt relaxed and less anxious when intoxicated, and alcohol but was more impulsive. But it made her more impulsive, and at times stated my mood was up and down. She openly described craving for alcohol, consuming alcohol through the day, and consuming alcohol to the exclusion of other activities. She denied significant withdrawal symptoms when she was detained in custody, though stating that she felt on edge. She denied any illicit substance use. The psychiatric history. She denied being seen by psychiatrists and mental health services recently, but stated that as a child she was seen by the child and adolescent mental health, and blah blah blah, just on about all what was in the opinion pretty much. And just that I was diagnosed officially and as a kid, blah 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 blah. Now this is the nasty bit that people are. I will warn you, there is some very very nasty things in this section. It could be very upsetting for some people to hear, potentially. Just listen to it with an open mind. I know that she was convicted in 2010 for assaulting a constable and received a referral order for 3 months. On the 28th of October 2010, she was convicted of persistently making use of a public communication at work and received a supervision order. In 2011, she was convicted of persistently making use of communication, which was subsequently varied to a youth rehabilitation order. I note that there are numerous convictions for persistent use of public communication at work to cause annoyance and inconvenience and for wasting police time. During 2011, this pattern of behaviour continued in 2012 and 2013. She also continued to be convicted of assaulting a constable and continued to be fined. On the 10th of February 2014, she was committed to the Crown Court for sentence. In 2014, she was convicted of racially aggravated intentional harassment and causing distress and received a young offender institution order for 3 months. And she was further convicted of failing to comply with a community order on multiple counts. She continued to be convicted of sending false messages by public electronic communication and received custodial sentences for 6 weeks and 18 weeks. This continued in 2015 when she received a 24-week custodial sentence, which was suspended, and the pattern of behaviour continued in 2017. Which was suspended, and this pattern of behaviour continued in 2017 when she received a suspended imprisonment for 24 weeks. I note that in the same year she was also convicted of religiously aggravated words, writings, and received a suspended imprisonment, and also convicted of threats to kill, for which she received a total of 16 months imprisonment at Stafford Crown Court. She described when she was 12 years old making a phone call to the police that she would go to a nursery and stab people. She described also making false allegations about two men that they had raped her when they had not. She described being charged with perverting the course of justice for this. She described making phone calls which made threats such as, "I would tell the operator that I would go down and kill children in nurseries." It is very gruesome, this. I am sorry, but people need to know the ins and outs. And they would end up coming and arresting me. She described also being arrested for having bladed articles in the street. Yes, all very true. She described in 2017, after the nursery incident, she received a suspended sentence, but she breached it. She stated that she had made phone calls, that she would stab everyone in a pizza parlour. She described between 2018 and 2019 spending 2 years in prison in Foston Hall. She described her behaviour deteriorating and her making false allegations. They had to move me prison in the end because I kept making up loads of vile false allegations against the prison officers. She described in 2017 being detained in custody. She stated that her behaviour continued to be difficult in prison. She described shouting abuse and keeping up fellow prisoners all night. Very true. She described being initially in HMP Foston Hall and subsequently moved to HMP New Hall until her release in 2019. She stated that between 2018 and 2022, for 4 years, she did not commit any serious offences. Index offence. I understand that Miss Rebecca Cooper had been charged with 3 counts of threatening, abusive, insulting words, behaviour, caused harassment, alarm and distress, and racially aggravated use of threatening, abusive, insulting words. The victims in this case are West Midlands Police Officer PC Royson Flannery, PC Max Beasley, DEO Timony Moylan, and DEO April Hemming. I understand that on the 4th of February 2022, it is alleged that she called 999 from a telephone box on Birchfield Road in Birmingham. It is alleged that she called 5 times with no police emergency, stating she finds it funny. Officers, I understand, then arrived to move her on and tell her not to call 999 without a police emergency. I understand that at 20:28 hours, she was back on the phone with 999 call handler using a public telephone on Union Street, Birmingham City Centre. I understand that she made statements such as she was a sex worker and would put posters up promoting sex work, ensuring that these posters were obscene in nature, and subsequently she called 999 using the same public telephone. I'm a sex worker who would like to offer you my services tonight, offering the call handler sexual services. I understand that there are a number of recordings of Miss Cooper calling 999 services. I understand that police officers were dispatched to this public phone booth, and when the police officers arrived, she made statements such as lesbian dyke. And also in the holding cell, she called PC Beastly a puff. All these are captured on body-worn camera, I understand. I understand that she also began sucking on her own nipples and exclaiming, "Movie for the officers. The officers like looking at my boobies." I understand that the police officer asked her repeatedly to cover herself and stop touching herself inappropriately. I understand that she continued sucking her nipples, and when challenged, she made statements such as, "We're all girls, we enjoy it." I bet you expose yourself to everyone. She was subsequently arrested in the police custody for a public order offence. She made statements such as, I bet you like to be sexually molested. You're only watching me at the door so I can sexually molest you, were the types of statements she made. When she was accompanied by Mr. Katak from Graff & Co solicitors during the course of the interview with appropriate adult Maureen Munnelly, she described that she had made the phone calls, and she described that she had a few drinks at home and had been struggling with her mental health and needed help, and every time that she has called before, she did not get any help or being taken seriously. She stated that she did not explicitly ask for help because it did not work previously. She stated that she could not recall saying things to PC Beasley with regard to comments made to DEO Hemming. She stated that she was talking to herself and did not intend to cause anyone distress. She apologised at the end of the interview for what she had said. I note that she is also charged with possession of an offensive weapon. Whilst being searched by police officers and looked inside the bag, they could see small kitchen knives. Small kitchen knives and a potato peeler with a corkscrew. I understand that she made statements to PC Ahmed during this period that he was an Asian donkey and he should be back to Africa, and also to PC Harris that she was going to find out where she lived and was going to rape her children. She described openly that she was intoxicated when the index offences occurred, and she had called the police repeatedly. She stated that Simon had asked her to leave their home. She stated, Simon had kicked me out because I was causing trouble. She stated, I would go on Facebook and I would say to people that I'd put a photograph of our cat and say that I would pluck the cat's hair out and that I would kill animals. She stated that she never could have done this, but she stated that this got her attention on Facebook. She stated that this behaviour was escalating and becoming more and more inappropriate. She stated that she had put videos on various social media saying that she would do bad things to animals and that she's a danger to animals. She also described putting on Facebook that she was an Adolf Hitler fan. She described also making comments that she would rape children on social media. She stated that Simon could not cope with this and kicked me out of the house. She described the more arguments and the more Simon told her that she should not do something, the more she would have urges to do it. She described simultaneously consuming alcohol to excess. She described she would have carers who would support her at home when